your bio, what you have sent, and this is the regional office of the Ministry of Tourism in the Western and Central region. For today's session, we would like to welcome a distinguished yoga practitioner and teacher, Ms. Manasa Rao. She is joining us from Bengaluru to tell us how to align to the new normal with yoga. Today, everybody is talking about new normal. Things are changing, the business models are being questioned, and what was valid yesterday is not valid today, and tomorrow nobody knows. And while we are all kind of combating the pandemic, one thing that is going around is there is no definite medicine or a vaccine, but everybody is saying to improve their immunity. In fact, yesterday in one of our webinars where Sadhguru said this, in fact, I would like to take reference from there, where he said that while there is nobody knows what is the medicine, but everybody is asking to improve your immunity, and this is where the whole world is looking at yoga for remedies and cure to fight this pandemic. The new normal, as we know, will also require a new mindset. It is all question of adapting and adjusting. How is now is the perfect time to recalibrate the body, breath, and mind by embracing yoga into our life. The yogic science is much beyond the physical practice. The this yoga day, as we sail through this new normal, let's align ourselves to the ancient wisdom from India, the yoga. And to introduce you to our speaker, Ms. Manasa Rao, she started a journey to teach yoga with a conscious purpose of shaping a beautiful internal environment wherein the body and the mind begin to respect, love, and care for each other. She genuinely believes that yoga is about connecting, healing, and becoming aware of a higher reality with all of us that within all of us that stretches beyond the mat. She has completed her yoga teacher training and Master of Science in Yoga with Swami Vivekananda Yoga Anusandhana Samasthana, which is S. Vyasa, Bangalore. She is currently a PhD scholar at S. Vyasa Yoga University. With this, I welcome Manasa ji. The stage is yours. Please lead us through your knowledge and your experience and tell how to align with the new normal. The web space is yours. Welcome again.
Yes. Namaste. Namaste, all of you. Thank you so much, sir, for that very nice introduction. And I'm so happy to be here with all of you today. So before we begin, let's just sit straight and close our eyes. Bring your entire awareness to your breathing. Focus on your breath. Let the breathing be natural. Observe that your abdomen bulges out as you inhale and sinks in as you breathe out. Let's begin with 3 rounds of Omkara. Inhale. Om. Relax your breath. Gently open your eyes. So today I'm here to explore and share how we can align to the new normal with the ancient knowledge of yoga. One huge change that I have experienced in the past couple of months is that before this pandemic, I have seen women walk into my yoga class, dead tired, so looking forward to their me time with yoga. Harul, can we have the first slide? Their time away from home, family, mates, and also the daily chores. But today, with the turn of events, we have realized that there is no escape from our reality. The next slide. There is no escape from home, isn't it? Yeah, so this is yoga then and yoga now. So today, men who were wanting for a work from home option are dying to get back to office. Women who wanted their husbands to spend quality time at home are now counting days waiting for their husbands to get back to work. Children who wanted to just laze around and watch television are now bored to nuts. The irregular house help has now become extremely disciplined. The paparazzi is jobless. Our poor mask, which no one wanted, is in huge demand now. And sanitizers are poured in liters, and our local provision store guy has become our savior. Out of boredom, we have even started spring cleaning our home and found old photographs or our marks cards and letters. And in between all this, we are even Googling every half an hour on the Google rates, isn't it? So while on the other hand, we see crime rates has plunged by half, and for some time, road accidents also became zero. Domestic violence increased. Mental health concerns multiplied multifold. However, I decided that the new normal has arrived when some real high profile marriages happened in a hush hush with absolutely no social distancing and with no live telecast on television. Yeah, so believe me, that the day I decided that the new normal has arrived. Yeah. So in the past 4 months, my ears have been really aching, hearing to people sulk, saying that I can't wait to get back to my life, my job, my desk, my routine, my mat, my body, my vacation, my travel, my favorite restaurant, my parties, my shopping, my, and whatnot. Between all this, the real litmus test of this humanity occurred on the day the liquor shops opened. Images of those long queues showed where we actually stand as a race today and how desperate we have become in resorting to momentary escape. This pandemic has ruthlessly, choicelessly, it has exposed our own life to us. Yeah. So what it did was, first, it just paused our life. Absolutely. Our life was paused. Then, when the noise around us paused, we started hearing our inner noise. The voice, the inner noise, which said, "Hi, remember me? Where were you all this while? What do I do now? I have nowhere to go. nothing to do. Absolutely, we never imagined that we would one day be answerable to our own mind. We have been neglecting it for ages, that we are unable to face the question that keeps popping up in our own mind. Probably that's precisely why we conveniently slide towards wanting to get back to our past normal, where we have been um, conditioned to and been comfortable all this while. We were actually conditioned to that noise. That external noise camouflage the noise within us. Yes, so today, the noise that we hear when we get back to bed every single night after being sick and tired of this social media slaughtering, and that has intensified our fear. A fear that was actually existing earlier with huge roots has now spread its branches to all the aspects of our life. Fear of, say, stepping out, fear of losing our standard of living, fear of meeting, greeting people, fear of losing our own health, fear of losing out on, say, luxuries of our life, fear of losing our loved ones, fear of failing in life, fear of what not. In fact, the past 3 months have made us realize that today there is no looking back. All the settled questions seem to open to new revisions. We are now wondering what kind of world will emerge or ought to emerge today. We have had long discussions with a lot of people around us because the change in the world around us has been already made. What remains to be done is a change within us. We are seeking for lessons that we can implement in rebuilding our external and internal world. So it's high time to take charge of ourselves. And at this point, I think we need to buckle up and be determined and hopeful and completely optimistic about what lies ahead. So we can let's say it's time to recalibrate our mind and our body. So in the current scenario, two important things attention. Yes. So one is building our own immunity, and number two, maintaining our mental well-being, isn't it? And yoga can be that one stop for all our problems, because yoga is a way of being aware of and managing our own thoughts, our own feelings, our actions, perspectives on different things, and even beliefs. Unlike the modern medicine, yoga is extremely holistic in its concept and practice. Yes, I'll explain how. Mainly because it sees the human existence not just as a physical form, but comprising of 5 layers. Paru will have the next slide. We call this as Panchakosha, or the 5-fold aspects of our existence. Okay, so our existence here has 5 layers to it. Firstly, the physical body, or the Manomayakosha. So this physical body is subject to 6 changes. So in yoga, we call it the Shadbhava Vikara. So the body, the birth of the body, the existence of the body, the growth of the body, changes in the body, decaying of the body, and the death of the body. So hence, the Manomayakosha, and this kosha forms the gross body. Next layer of our body is the Pranayama, or the breath body. So it is composed of prana, or the life force. Force that vitalizes and holds together the body and the mind. Next comes the Manomayakosha. This is the emotional layer to our body, comprising of the mind along with the 5 sensory organs. This together constitutes the Manomayakosha. And what is interesting in this Manomayakosha is that in yoga, we aim not at understanding the mind, but we aim actually at transcending the mind with all the yogic techniques. So in the Yoga Sutra, sage Patanjali defines yoga as Chitta Vritti Nirodha. What he means by that is that yoga is that method to transcend the modifications or vrittis of the mind or the chitta. Next layer is our Vijnanamaya Kosha, or the intellectual body. Okay, so this comprises of the buddhi or the intellect, which gives us the discriminatory power of discriminating between what is right and what is wrong. Next is the bliss body, what we say the Anandamaya Kosha. It is the subtlest of all the 5 koshas in our body, and it's composed of the supreme bliss. So in yoga, we have different techniques that aim at each of these layers of our existence. Say, for example, for Annamaya Kosha, we have asanas, kriyas, mudras, and bandhas. And for Pranamaya Kosha, we have pranayama, or what we say as a pranavidya in yoga. For Manomaya Kosha, or the emotional body, we have japas, mantra, chanting, bhajans, and mindfulness, meditation. Everything comes under the Manomaya Kosha practices. Then for the Vijnanamaya Kosha practices, we have meditation practices such as self-reflection and yoga nidra. Then for the Anandamaya Kosha, we have practices such as karma yoga, which is selfless service, and bhakti yoga, which is devotional practices, and dhyana. So this exactly makes yoga extremely unique in its approach. And moving on to who can practice this yoga? Yogi Swatmarama in Hatha Yoga Pradipika, a text, a regular text on the concepts of Hatha Yoga, he says that Yuva Vruddho Ati Vruddhova Vyadito Durbalopiva Abhyasat Siddhimapnoti Sarva Yogeshvatandritaha. In simple words, what he means is anybody can practice, anybody can attain success in yoga, irrespective of whether they are young, old, deceased, or weak. But of course, with only with sustained practice for a long period of time. So if so, then how do we incorporate every aspect of the yogic way of living into our life today? Firstly, we need to remember that in yoga, practice and philosophy, practice, I'm repeating, practice and philosophy goes hand in hand. One without the other, that is, practice without philosophy or philosophy without practice is absolutely incomplete. That is where a lot of yoga practitioners who are into practicing just 1 or 2 limbs of yoga, say asana, pranayama, or any of the 2 limbs of yoga for decades together fall short. So hence, we have to incorporate the systematic methodology that has been prescribed in order to reap the benefits of any practice. Having said that, with the yogic science, which is a time-tested method, we can undoubtedly embrace this new normal with positivity and vigor. And how do we adopt practical yogic methods which will help us attain and maintain our well-being in this current situation? So firstly, as I just said earlier, yoga is an amalgamation of practice and philosophy. We cannot practice one without the other. We should be very, very sure about that and clear about that. So if done so, just as a physical practice, the benefits remain limited only to the first layer or the first two layers of your existence here. Secondly, yoga is not yoga, absolutely not yoga, if it's not practiced 24/7. Just moving your body 1 hour on the mat is not sufficient. The practice needs to spill over the rest of the 23 hours as well. It should become a way of life. With this in mind, let me just share a few practical methods which we can follow every day. Yeah. So the next slide. Parul, yes. So as we wake up, we can adopt the oral hygiene method like oil pulling, which is what we call as gundusha in Ayurveda, and followed by turmeric water gargling. And we can also do neti, which is a nasal cleansing technique, which is a yogic kriya, which keeps our upper respiratory tract in optimal condition. Then we can move on to the breathing practices. Surya Namaskara, it can be 10 steps or 12 steps, depending upon your level of practice. You can practice Surya Namaskara followed with asanas, pranayama, followed with 10 to 15 minutes of dhyana or meditation. Also, what we need to keep in mind at this point is that please do not practice these techniques without a proper guidance from a competent yoga therapist or a yoga teacher, because the benefits of these can be drawn only when it is done right. So get some guidance in person or on an online class, and also see to that the practices are customized for your body, your breath, and your level of strength, endurance, and flexibility. And this is extremely important. Moving on, we can also practice pranayama followed with the japa meditation in the evening, which is extremely beneficial. And once a week, you can practice the yogic kriya of or the cleansing technique of dhauti, which is the abdominal cleansing, and Laghu Shanka Prakshalana, which is the bowel cleansing technique. So with this, you will be able to rejuvenate your body. And apart from this, we need to also be aware of the breath through the day. Okay, so this is extremely crucial in the practice of yoga. We'll go on to the next slide, because again, quoting from Hatha Yoga Pradipika, which very clearly states that chale bate chale chittam nischalam nischale nischalam bhavet. Wherever the breath goes, the mind follows it. So breath and mind are interlinked. You cannot isolate and just work with just one and ignore the other. Okay, so breath and mind needs to be together, and in order to restrain the restless mind, one needs to control and channelize the breath. So which means that to be mindful, we need to turn our awareness to our own breath. Yes, I repeat this again. To be mindful, we need to turn our awareness to our own breath. Okay, so after breath awareness, we need to explore how we can be mindful of what we see, hear, speak, eat, and even touch. Yes, even touch. Yeah, so why? Because in fact, just 4 months ago, we laughed about it when our mothers and grandmothers said, don't step into the house with outside footwear, or wash your limbs after stepping into the house, or even just don't touch the vessels in the kitchen without washing your hands. All these things are making sense now. Probably our grandmothers or probably their mothers who had lived through such a pandemic attack in their life had made such rules with a pinch of God element attached to it so that we will follow it religiously. Anyways, so these ancient practices and wisdom is making sense, so much sense now, isn't it? Yes, moving on, the core of the yogic way of life lie in differentiating between the nitya, anitya. So what we call as nitya, anitya, vastu viveka. That which is permanent and that which is impermanent. Today, let me tell you that this is a fantastic time to start logging things which you feel are significant to your existence here, and those that are perishable and not so significant. So start making a list and strike off all those that you feel are insignificant. This task, believe me, this task will definitely bring in clarity of thought that will also translate into clarity in action. This will happen gradually, but it will definitely happen. I think with this knowledge, we will also be able to be non-judgmental and non-reactive to people and situations around us. In fact, that will also help in maintaining our inner balance. Being non-judgmental is extremely important as when we suppress any thought. For example, we suppress a thought and immediately it triggers a metacognitive scanning process where the mind first searches for all the signs of unwanted instructions and it brings it to awareness when detected. For example, say a cricketer or any player for that matter whose intention is to avoid, say, a bad shot, okay, which he knows is going to be a bad shot. So they know that it is their weak shot also. And most often, they land up hitting that shot. You find this behavior with children as well. They know what to avoid. They keep repeating the same errors again and again. Thinking about the errors, most times, okay, we land up making or we land up repeating that error. But with yoga, when we start focusing on the present moment, we train our mind to be here and now. For example, say you're standing in Vrikshasana, which is a balancing asana, okay? And you cannot hold this asana steady if your mind is wavering, okay? So being non-judgmental, being non-reactive about others and about yourself is important in times like these, and yoga can certainly help in maintaining that balance. Further, moderation, discipline and moderation in all spheres of life should be brought in. It can be moderation in eating, moderation in sleeping, moderation in working or recreation. Extravagance in any of these, okay, can block advancement in the practice of yoga. In fact, the pandemic has already assisted us in putting the spotlight on the bare necessities of life, which actually now I just got reminded of this song from Rudyard Kipling's Jungle Book, where Bhalu the bear sings this song, you know, bare necessities, where he says, old Mother Nature's recipes that bring bare necessities of life. I keep reminding the child in me and the child at home that how a bear can rest at peace because it understands and looks for the bare necessities of life so well. Then why can't we? Isn't it? We should try and give it some thought. Do listen to that song sometime today. It makes so much sense in these times. Yeah. So meanwhile, we should also, I would say, remember to take plenty of water, sunlight, observe the night sky, grow a kitchen garden maybe, and have a picnic on the terrace. You can pick up a book, breathe deep, and just relax. Okay, so finally, I want to just end with a short story from the Mahabharata. This story actually occurs post the war, after the coronation of King Yudhishthira. Krishna is about to leave to Dwaraka when Arjuna comes to the Bhagavan, and he requests Bhagavan saying, Krishna, could you please repeat your teaching that you told me before the war began, before the Kurukshetra war began. What he was actually referring to the entire Bhagavad Gita. So what we have as 700 shlokas today, imagine even after being unimaginably fortunate to have received the teachings from the Lord himself, in the challenging time, Arjuna had forgotten all that in the happier time post the war. This story reminds us that the lessons learned in tough times should not be forgotten in happier times. Unless we wake up to a new level of truth, tomorrow is just going to be like yesterday, isn't it? No lessons learned. And this Yoga Day, let's empower our existence with the ancient wisdom of yoga as much as possible. Let's be mindful and deliberate about the choices we make as we navigate this next transition. If we succeed in our new normal, I would say it could be sweeter than the normal that we left behind. And in 2015, actually, our beloved Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, put yoga on a higher pedestal by giving an impetus to the wider perspective of yoga. In the last century, yoga was just promoted as a physical practice. However, with the International Yoga Day, the world has come together to comprehend what yoga really is. With an emergence of the separate ministry for the indigenous complementary medicine such as yoga, Ayurveda, and Siddha, today our definition of healing and well-being has a wider reach. This year, the focus was on yoga at home and yoga with family. I just want to show you a small video on that. Parul?
धैर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः तुष्टुवा पुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यथायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृत्तश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
So what better way than this to move with positive vibes and the practice of yoga. With the practice of yoga at home, it feels so wonderful to have that energy around in your own space through the day where you spend most of your time these days. So enjoy your practice with your family. And I'm also so happy that all the Incredible India campaigns has helped the world also understand that India is not just a land of, say, snake charmers, levitating yogis, or secluded yogis on a bed of nails. The Incredible India campaigns have always portrayed India as a spiritual destination, much beyond the physical aspects of yoga. And thanks to our government and Indiatourism for supporting and promoting yoga practitioners, yoga therapists in a huge way, and shifting our attention to the significance of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Yes, thank you so much. So before we end, can we have a small practice? Yes, yes, sir. Okay. So we'll have a small breath awareness practice. I would want you all to sit comfortable. Okay, you can sit cross-legged, you can sit on a chair, but keep your spine straight. Gently close your eyes. Observe your breath. Now we start with the practice of Brahmari Pranayama. We call this as a resounding pranayama, where we keep the tip of our tongue on the roof of our mouth or the upper palate. Okay? So keep your tip of the tongue on your upper palate and just relax your tongue, relax your lips, relax your lower jaw. As you exhale, okay, chant Nakara or the ing sound, the ing sound, ing sound. And as you chant Nakara, go to each and every corner of your head and feel the vibrations of Nakara in your entire head region. Okay, we'll begin the practice. Inhale. Last round, inhale. Relax your tongue, close your mouth, keep your eyes closed. Gently bring your awareness to your spine. Visualize your spine in your mind. Go to the tip of your tailbone. Slowly, as you inhale, ascend or move up the spine to the back of your head. And as you exhale, slowly move down the spine back to your tailbone. Inhale, move up the spine to the back of your head. Exhale, down along the spine, slowly descend along the spine, back to the tailbone. Continue it for a few more breaths. Slow down your breathing. Now, inhale, move up the spine. And as you descend and move down along the spine, chant Omkara in your mind. Inhale, move up the spine. Exhale, move your consciousness along the spine, awareness along the spine as you chant Omkara. Synchronize your breath, the movement of awareness, and the Omkara together. Continue. As you exhale and move down along the spine, chant Omkara very slowly. Control your exhalation. Exhale very slowly. Few more rounds. Inhale, move up the spine. Exhale, Omkara, down along the spine. Last round. Inhale, move up the spine. Exhale. Don't open your eyes. Keep your eyes closed. In your mind, as you create the positive vibes, repeat the sankalpa or the resolution after me. You can repeat it in your mind. Inhale, I am healthy, peaceful, joyful, and loving. Say, I am healthy, peaceful, joyful, and loving. One more time. I am healthy, peaceful, joyful, and loving. Instill the sankalpa within yourself. Repeat it one more time on your own. Repeat with me. Through every action of mine, I will strive to create a peaceful and loving atmosphere around me. Through every action of mine, I will strive to create a peaceful atmosphere, a peaceful and loving atmosphere around me. Listen to this one more time. Through every action of mine, I will strive to create a peaceful and loving atmosphere around me. Instill the sankalpa in your mind. Dwell upon this thought for a little while. Slowly and gently rub your palms. Make a cup out of your palm. Keep it on your eyes. One more time. Rub your palms. Make a cup out of it. Keep it on your eyes. Feel the warmth. Last round. Rub your palms. Make a cup out of your palm. Keep it on your eyes. With few blinks, open your eyes into your palm. Hari Om. That's it. Thank you. So you can practice this every single day, okay? In the morning and in the evening. So the first practice we did was Brahmari Pranayama, chanting of Nakara and observing the entire head region. So this you can do it for 5 rounds or 9 rounds, depending upon how much time you have. And then follow it with the spinal column breathing with Omkara chanting as you descend and exhale along the spine. Yes, so please do this as much as possible. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, we have some questions on the chat. Maybe you would like to address them. We have Janendra who's asking, where would you recommend for doing yoga teachers training course?
Okay.
Something on an authentic name.
Okay. See, there are various options in India. May I know where he's from? Okay, he has not mentioned.
No, he has not mentioned.
So there are various options today for a teacher training course. Where I did was from SPSA Yoga University. Okay, it is deemed university affiliated to the Bangalore University. So they have the yoga teacher training course followed with masters. They have BSc in yoga. They have the post graduation diploma in yoga, which is fantastic. Also, they have PhD programs. So that is one option. Then there is Bihar School of Yoga. They have their own teacher training course, and a lot of these small. See, I need to know where he's from. So depending on that, I can also suggest which is a nearby institute. And there are plenty of options actually. You should just look for it. There is Kaivalya Dham, and there is Shivananda School, and there are plenty of them in Rishikesh. So there are many options. See, what you need to think before taking up a teacher training course is what is that you're looking for in a teacher training course? Okay, whether it is what interests you basically. So, for example, in Svyasa, we have a very holistic way of approach to yoga. It is just not asana and learning the anatomy or the physiology of the body. Uh, it is it's a very wholesome approach to yoga where we have say bhakti yoga, we have chanting sessions, there is karma yoga, and there is we learn about the scriptures of yoga. So I think it's one of the best options that we have in our country today.
And we have another question from Chandrima. She wants to know, do you teach any online class currently? If so, how may we attend or register?
Yes, I have online classes, and I have two group classes currently. I take personal sessions also, which is like customized to people, and then depending on their level of, like I just said, their level of body breadth and endurance, strength, and various aspects. The two group classes are in the morning, so he can just whoever it is, they can just contact me. Yeah.
Great. And there's another question from Harikishan who wants to know, please tell me what is different between MSc in Yogic Science and MSc in Yoga in SVyasa?
It is the same. It is the same. It is the same. It is MSc in Yoga, Yogic Science only.
Okay. And again, another question which has come is, what are your thoughts? Can you hear me?
Before that, I'll just interrupt you because see, this options, in yoga, in SVyasa is that there is distance learning also, the option, and it can be anywhere in the country, and you can just you need to approach them, and you have contact classes. So there is regular MSc programs and a distant MSc programs, and there is a regular yoga teacher training, distant yoga teacher training. So the options are plenty. So just go to the site and explore the options.
And the gentleman who asked about the yoga institute is from Banaras, Varanasi, just for your information. And again, another question which has come is, ma'am, what are your thoughts on intermittent fasting? How often should it be done?
Okay. See, in yogic approach to food, there should be moderation in eating. Okay. So now we follow that actually after you're 30, after the age of 30, 2 meals a day is more than sufficient. Okay. Coming to the fads, of intermittent fasting or keto diet or vegan diet, what I would say is that first you need to understand what your body is, what your body needs. Okay. I think where we most of us falter is that we do not know when we are hungry. Okay, we do not let that hunger to pop up. We just feed ourselves when it is say we have our breakfast at 8. Okay, so we eat according to time, not according to when we feel hungry. So that we need to be aware of first. And secondly, okay, moderation in eating is more than sufficient than uh, fasting and just following any fad diets, I would say. Yeah.
And there's another question. Can you guide any yoga exercise for eye issues? I need to remove my spectacles. That is Akshay.
Sorry, come again.
Uh, can you guide any yoga exercise for eye issues? I need to remove my spectacles.
So for eyes, we have this practice called Trataka. Trataka is a kriya or a cleansing technique where so there are shat kriyas, like I just mentioned three kriyas. One was the niti, which is the nasal cleansing. I mentioned about dauti and the shanka prakshanam, also the bowel cleansing. So Trataka is for the eyes. So this can be practiced. So it is an elaborate practice which and there are many methods in sub methods in Trataka also. So he will have to contact me to know how it is done. But Trataka is it's a fantastic practice for the eye. It also improves concentration and focus in children and improves the memory power. So I think it's very good for children also who have lot of screen time these days because of this lockdown. You know, they're just with the phone or in front of the TV. So children need to practice the preparatory practices of Trataka. Yes.
And is non-vegetarian totally forbidden in yoga practice or yoga life? So this is the question again.
Okay. So I'll tell you what the yogic texts say. Yogic text say that there are three kinds of food. One is the sattvic food, rajasic food, and the tamasic food. And it prescribes that we need to have sattvic food for the advancement in yoga. That is what it prescribes. Okay. So if you are don't force. See, it's like I would recommend sattvic food. Okay, and there are like foods such as like even onion and garlic is forbidden, asafoetida is forbidden, and say, you know, so there are certain foods like this which is forbidden in in the practice of hatha yoga. So I would say it is your choice. Make a choice. Okay, and also. I felt I can't explain it to you as to the differences it has made. You know, when you become completely sattvic with your diet, but there are changes which is very subtle that happens to you when you go sattvic in food. So yes, certainly sattvic. Yes.
And one more last question which has come is Jain diet good for me? I'm a doctor.
Okay. I have not seen that person. I have not met him. I do not know anything about him. So to answer this would be a little tricky. But Jain diet, of course, anything is good. And see, basically, I would say more than following any diet, have nutritious, wholesome food. Okay, so that is more important. See what your body likes, what your body doesn't like. Be aware of that and have good nourishing food more than saying Jain diet or vegan diet or keto diet or anything. Be very receptive about what your body needs.
And again, the question on S. Vyasa again. Tell me about MBA in yoga started by S. Vyasa. Only is it only in S. Vyasa, MBA in yoga?
I'm not that sure about the MBA part of it, but yes, they have an MBA course, but I do not know whether it is distant or full time. That I think they'll have to check.
Another question which has come is it okay to do yoga after physical exercises like jogging and stretching in the morning?
Okay. So what I would recommend personally is that yoga before any other form of exercise is good. Why? For the simple reason because uh, yoga helps in stretching the muscles. It improves the flexibility. So basically, it sets the length of your muscle. Okay. So optimal length of the muscle is obtained, like even with just Surya Namaskara, we can do that. So do yoga before any other practice, any other, it could be gymming, it could be any other form of practice which you are doing. Do yoga first and then the rest.
And the other question which is coming, what what's that one thing which we should do to motivate ourselves to practice 24 hours a day?
Okay. See, you can approach this in various ways. Okay. First of all, see, today what has happened is uh, we know yoga is good for us. We know Ayurveda is fantastic for our body. We know naturopathy is fabulous. Okay, we know everything. The knowledge is there. We can just Google it, and you can get list of benefits. But what is actually missing is we are not following it. Okay, so that needs to be brought in. And how do we bring that in? There should see yoga is a discipline. Okay, one needs to understand that. So you need to wake up at the same time, do the kriyas at the same time. Okay, set a time that will straighten out a lot of things in life. So spread a mat at the same time, get onto the mat at the same time. Okay, so once you set say the ball rolling, in the early morning, the rest of the day, see to that you're aware of your breath. The breath will guide you. Okay, once the breath is in place, okay, the rest of the things will come in place. How? I'll tell you. So in the rest of the 23 hours in a day, what generally happens is we have um, we react to things. Okay, so we become anxious, we become fearful. There are a lot of negative thoughts and feelings which we are exposed to in today's world. So with setting the breath in place, we become aware that, look, I am being stressful at this point. So the very moment you know that this is going to cause, uh, this is going to cause, say, jealousy in me, this is going to cause anxiety in me, okay, that anxiety will vanish because you are aware of that, that is happening to you. So once that happens, everything is set in place. So that is how you need to do it at a mental level. And also, like I just mentioned, your food needs to be in place. You can't have a heavy meal and be active through the day. Eat as much as you require. I would say 1/3 of your tummy is sufficient. Food is sufficient, and what you eat is what you are. Yeah.
Great. And should asanas follows the breathing exercise?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
Asanas done without the breathing pattern is just a physical exercise. It doesn't become asanas because you're just moving your body in various directions and forms. If you do not do it with breathing, it doesn't become a.
And is there any specific time for practicing yoga? I am not a morning person. That is
Okay.
the question.
Okay. So I would say that practicing yoga in the morning, of course, has its own benefits, added benefits, I would say. But if you're practicing yoga on the mat at any time during the day, it is fine. But the only thing is that see to that you don't do it just after food. Okay, so just after eating, don't practice. Give a gap of about 2.5 to 3 hours so that the food gets digested, and then you can practice yoga. Yes.
Great. And a lot of viewers are asking about your social media contacts in terms of your Instagram and Facebook. And also, if you can give out your email to them, it will be good for them to connect with you.
Okay, you can do. You can contact me at Yogāyush. That is YOGAYUSH at yahoo.com. YOGAYUSH at yahoo.com.
Yeah. Thank you, Manasa ji, for taking all those questions, taking time out to come and join our webinar series. Over the last 7 days, it has been an amazing experience for every one of us to understand various aspects of yoga. In fact, many of us who believed yoga was only a physical exercise could move beyond that, understand how it is all about mind, understanding oneself, etc. And we also came to know that the real nourishment is to keep giving happiness to the self. That is where we were also running this campaign of self-love. And when the mind is happy, then automatically we find ourselves being energetic. So thank you for reiterating all this. And it also says that we also understood that there is no better nourishment than happiness, and then no sickness which is worse than anxiety. So we will all be kind of looking forward to radiate happiness and see the difference. And thank you for bringing in the elements of yoga and how it can be done. And before we leave, I also wanted to acknowledge our technology support here from Parul, who has been our media partner. She's from Safari Plus. Thank you, Parul, for staying with us all the 7 days, meticulously kind of managing all the requests from our speakers and getting us through. And also, there's a big team behind this whole event which was put together. Each one of them, my students and my own colleagues in the office who work tirelessly. So thank you everyone for making this Yoga Week celebrations a grand success. And once again, Mansaji, we thank you and we look forward to have you again some special sessions. We do keeping knowledge series, so we will pick up some topic specific and we will approach you. Once again, thank you and let's all stay happy, stay peaceful and stay well. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I thank SVR Nagendra Guruji and all the faculty members and India Tourism for such a lovely session. And I thank my all my gurus. And I just hope that all the sages of the past continue to guide us. Thank you.
Thank you.